What is up, everybody? Merry Christmas. Today is Christmas. Remember that Christ is King. I'm feeling so good today. We had the best Christmas this morning. We just had like a very great Christmas. Last night we got to spend a bunch of time with family. We went to 2 different family parties. We'll get into Christmas later on in this episode, but I have a lot to talk about today. Today, I'm going to tell you guys how I shifted my mindset from negative to positive, a couple years of negative mindset to positive in a matter of 30 minutes after something bad happened to me. Okay. And to start this off, I need to tell kind of a story about how this happened and what happened, what actually was the aggregate for it. A couple weeks ago, I had, this just seemed to be the story of my life for the past couple of years. But a couple of weeks ago, I had like bad thing after bad thing after bad thing after bad thing happen, right? Or not bad thing, just I would say like little things, right? Little things. I had a client cancel, I had, whatever. And I was just like, oh my gosh, whatever. What else could possibly go wrong, right? What else could go wrong? And so it's November at this point, and maybe it was the first week of December. I don't know. Yeah, first week of December. It's a few weeks ago. I go outside and I'm like, we had an outdoor CrossFit rig in our driveway. And so I went outside. I'm like, it's getting cold. It's starting to snow a little bit. I have to get this thing out of the ground because we are going to be moving when there could possibly still be snow. And I don't want to do this in the deep cold or snow later on. So I'm going to get this thing out of the driveway and take it to the gym and put it up at the gym. So anyways, I start to take this thing down, right? And I go to load it in my truck, and mind you, I didn't take a bunch of it apart. I was like, I'm going to take this basically in 2 pieces. Really, really dumb idea. I'm going to take this in 2 different pieces and hopefully make it to the gym. So as I start to put it in the truck, everything's going fine. I get in the truck so that I can pull it in and slide it a little bit more. And next thing I know, I hear shattering noises, right? And I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm looking side to side. I'm looking around outside. I'm looking at the neighbors, windows and stuff, and I don't see anything. So I finally decide to turn around. And I see that I had shattered my rear windshield on my truck. And the first thing that goes through my mind is, of course, what else could go wrong? Total victim mindset shit. I'm like, what else could go wrong? Of course this would happen. No shit. And I get into like this like bad attitude, like this is going to cost so much money. Mind you, I needed to have a clean car, everything perfect, or a clean truck, everything perfect, because I was supposed to sell that car the same week or turn it in for my new car. So I ended up having to pay a $500 bill. Thank God I was able to do it. Thank God we have the means to be able to do that, and insurance and everything, but to replace the windshield. So anyways, I'm like, of course this would happen. I go ahead and I call, my girlfriend, I call my dad, I call the people that, just asking for advice. Like, what should I do? What am I supposed to do in this situation? Yeah. Mostly I was calling people to bitch. Let's be real. I was calling people just to complain. About 20 minutes goes by and I'm sulking. And I go to myself, I had a moment of clarity and I go, you know what? I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. Since the gym, up until now, since me closing the gym, or even before closing the gym, up until now, I've had this mindset of things are happening to me. Yeah, I'm going to take responsibility for stuff, but still things are happening to me. And this is true. Things do happen to you, but you can't let it control you like that. Like things are happening. And I'm thinking this stuff just keeps happening to me. Of course, I'm just like bad luck, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to live in a world where I get to dictate the outcomes. I get to choose how I think and feel about circumstances happening to me. I'm no longer going to victimize myself. So what did I do? I made a conscious shift in mindset right then and there. And I understand, and I understood then that it's still going to take time and it's a muscle that you have to exercise and then flex it. So I run inside and I get Post-it notes out and I'm starting to write like affirmations. I slap them on my mirror in the bathroom. So it's the first thing that I see every day when I wake up. I used to do this all the time. I went on Amazon and I bought this thing called the 5-minute journal, which I used to do back in the day. And it is an absolute godsend. It is. It's a gratitude journal. It gives you prompts. And so I bought this to help me out with the mindset too. And then I have a whiteboard here that I put down my goals, right? I put down my goals. Like, no longer am I going to complain about how many clients I have or any of this stuff. What are my goals, right? Write down the goals. And then because of writing down the goals, whatever, I'll get into that in a second. You write down the goals. And then the last thing that I did to be able to do this was I wrote down a quote, and it says, only give energy to the outcomes that you desire. Now, this isn't a woo-woo, my energy, what I focus on, it's going to manifest into reality and into real life out of thin air. This means if I focus my energy on the outcomes that I desire, that means that I'm going to be willing to put the energy, the physical work, blood, sweat, and tears into the work that is required to get the outcome that I desire. You understand? Whatever you focus your energy on, it's not about manifesting it out of thin air, out of energy, It's about the fact that I'm so focused on this. Now I have the ability, I have the capacity to do the work in order to get to that desired outcome. And when you have your energy focused on negative outcomes, things that are happening to you, it sucks the life out of you, and you don't have the energy to work on the things, to give the effort to the things that you supposedly want and desire. That quote hit me so hard when I was listening to it on a podcast that I live by it day by day now. I live by it day by day. I think about this quote. I'm only going to give energy to the outcomes that I desire because it puts me in a positive frame every day. What do I want today? Which is another thing that this 5-minute journal thing does. What do I want today? Right? Okay. Write down your 3 goals, the 3 prompts that it gives you. What would make today great? What would make today great? And then because you wrote the 3 things that would make today great, it's almost like a checklist, a to-do list. You write these 3 things down. Now all the energy that you have for the day is going to be allocated to those 3 things. And 3 things a day is simple. You can't make excuses for 3 tasks in a day. You have probably 12 hours that you're awake, if not more. If you can't accomplish 3 things, 3 real actionable outcomes, then it's not that those things are not within your reach. You're just being too lazy. You just don't want to do it enough that outweighs you wanting the things, right? So anyways, that's how I shifted in 30 minutes my mindset in terms of, going from negative for a couple years to positive. The main thing that I want you guys to take away there, though, was, and it's not going to seem like this, but it was massive action and momentum, right? I made a decision. So what you need to do if you want an outcome to happen, I'm going to give you guys a prescription here. If you want a certain goal, if you want to shift your mindset from negative to positive, right? Everything requires momentum. Everything requires energy. So the moment that you make that flip in your mind that you want to be positive, you want to have positive outcomes, the moment you make that decision, you need to act. If you do not take action immediately, it will not happen. Energy flows with momentum. Momentum gives you to energy. The momentum is energy. So when you make that decision, I want to be positive. I want to have these outcomes, these positive outcomes. I want these things. Act then. Don't wait. Nobody has ever accomplished anything by procrastinating. Move. What I did immediately was I put the Post-it notes up. I went on Amazon. I bought this thing. I wrote down my goals immediately. What's interesting about all of this, the third thing that I did, lastly, is I asked God for guidance. And this might not resonate with so many of you, and someday I hope that it does. but I asked God for guidance on what I need to be doing. And God told me what I needed to do. And this is how crazy he works. This is how crazy these miracles can actually happen. For the past few weeks, I had been thinking about applying to jobs. I had been thinking about like, what jobs could I do that would still afford me the time to be able to work on my business and rebuild it up. Instead, what I did was I made a mental commitment to my business. I made a mental, emotional commitment to my business, and I asked God to show me the way. That day, I was given from God clients. I was given what I asked for. When you are, I truly believe this. When you are in alignment with what God has given you purpose to do, when you are in alignment with what your life path should be, with what you are supposed to do, and you truly ask God, what should I do? How should I accomplish it? Please show me the way. And your intentions are pure. I believe wholeheartedly 100% that you will be given what you ask for. A lot of people run through life and they want success for very selfish and personal reasons, and they never get there because they say that the love of money is the root of all evil, right? It's not money is the root of all evil. It's the love of money is the root of all evil. And why this is so detrimental to your life, living in that state of mind, is because if the love of money is the root, if you have a love of money if you have the love of money, right, you will do anything to get the money, which means you won't be aligned with purpose, which means your mind will always be looking for the next brightest, shiny new thing. How can I make $1? How can I make a quick dollar? How can I make a quick dollar? Rather than being in line with your purpose on something that you actually give a shit about and are willing and able to work hard on. That's where the blessing is. Finding the thing that you are passionate about, the thing that you actually care about, the thing that you love, the thing that you are destined to do and that you are good at, and having the energy and the mental fortitude to be able to work on it daily without it feeling like effort, with it being effortless, and using your gift to go forward. The thing that I want to address with this too, another thing that I want to address is writing down your goals. For some reason, there seems to be magic almost, right, with writing your goals down. There is something about writing your goals down that is so effective. And for me, what I think it is when you get clear about what your actual goals are, what the things that you really want are, not the things that you would like to have, the things that you really want. What are those things? And those aren't things that just come off top of head. Those are things that you sit down and you really think about. What do I want? Right? Not like, now I think about it, I want a Bugatti, you know what I mean? Or I want a Ferrari. It's like, no, you don't want those things. You would really like to have those things, but you're not willing to put in the work for that. And these goals need to be tangible goals. They can't be otherworldly. They can be otherworldly if you can really see that, but they need to be within reach, within reason to start, right? Because if I were to put down tomorrow, or if I were to put down $2 million, I don't even know what that looks like. I don't even know how to get there. I wouldn't know the first steps to get there. But if I put down on a whiteboard, I want to make 10 to 12K a month again, I know how to get there. I've been there before. So I can do that. That's tangible. I know this is how many clients that I need per month. This is how many hours it's going to take per month. And these are the things that I need to do in order to attain those clients, in order to have acquisition, to acquire them and to lock them down. And these are the types of things that I need to set into place. I know exactly how to get there. That's where the power comes, in writing down your goals. Now, again, they have to be tangible. You have to really believe and be able to to picture that happening. Because where I think the power of visualization is, I don't believe it to be some woo-woo thing. I think that everything is gifted by God, given to us by God. I think that if we're able to visualize it, that maybe it becomes more real and he understands that we want it. But let's not get into to all that. But you need to be able to visualize it and visualize what your life is going to be like when you get it. Because when you can actually have a clear picture of what it looks like, right? Not some like fairy tale fantasy thing, what it actually feels like to make 10K. You have to be able to visualize and feel what it actually feels like to have 10K a month. Because when you're able to visualize and see it as real life rather than a fantasy, now you know, okay, this is tangible. I can get there. This is what it's going to feel like. I'm going to feel like that now, which means that these are the steps that I need to take. Again, like we just talked about, right? It needs to be tangible. I can sit here all day and be like, yeah, if I had $2 million, a year, then I would buy, property, and I would buy, I'd make a bunker at home, and I'd have all these these cool Jeeps and cars and whatever. And I'm not saying that I won't ever make $2 million in a year or anything like that. But right now I'm starting out with X amount of dollars that I have made before that I'm not making anymore. Once that happens, I will write down my next goal. What is the next goal? And as you create more goals, as you hit one goal, you create a bigger one, because now you've hit this goal. That means, cool, I've hit this. I can reach a little bit further. This one still looks like it's within reach. So if your goal is 10K, you make 10K for a month or two. You're like, it's doable. It's easy. Now we go to 12 to 15K. That looks doable. It's easy because you've already hit a different step. So now you can hit another step. And then bigger goals become more attainable. They seem more attainable rather than just shooting for the stars right away. It's not always wrong to do that. The problem is that most people do not have the work ethic yet, or the ability to even see or feel what that goal would look like. So being able to feel it, touch it, see it, it's super important, right? And so writing down your goal is the reason why I'm such a big proponent of that. I know that I went on a little tangent there. The reason why I'm such a big proponent of that specifically is because, to me, in my head at least, writing down my goals is a commitment to myself. And so when I write that goal down, I need to commit and I need to do it. I can't bullshit around anymore. I don't know what it is. It's just something about it, right? I write it down. I'm like, okay, now I have to do this. I wrote it down. It seems real, real enough. I've been here before. I have to do it now. It's on paper, or it's on my whiteboard rather. This is something that I got to do. And I know that a lot of people, I've seen it time and time again. I've heard all the stories. I've done this in the past. Shit, I've done it. And every single time it always ends up happening. My mom told me this story. It's not the same. This is more like actualizing something that you vocalize, right? And I don't believe in vocalizing your goals either, actually, because I think, and I've fallen into this loop. The reason why I don't believe that vocalizing your goals is a good thing is because, number one, it's going to get into other people's ears. You're going to give them the opportunity to shoot you down. And when they shoot you down, that's just giving you bad vibes, bad energy. And all of a sudden, you've gone from believing to not believing because you let other people get in your ear. It happens to everybody. The second reason is because I think the more you talk about something, the more real it feels and the less likely you are to actually take the steps. It's almost as if you already have the stupid thing and now you're not willing to actually make the effort and take action to do the thing. It's crazy. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely happened to me. And if you were really on the chase, dude, you need to be doing it. So anyway, you need to be doing the things. I'm high energy today, guys. My mom told me about this time that her and I pulled up to, or we were coming out of a grocery store. My mom told me about this time that we were my mom told me that we were, okay guys, let me get my bearings back. Yeah, I'm excited about this story. It's a cool story. My mom had told me about this time that we were leaving a grocery store years ago, probably 7 to 10 years ago. And we walk out and there's a guy with this specific car. And she said that I gave him a thumbs up, right? And the guy like nodded back at me. And my mom goes, "What was that about?" And I go, that's a badass car. I'm going to have that one day. And I said that to my mom. And recently, I got the car. And my mom goes, you know, it's crazy. She told me the story. She goes, it's crazy. I remember clear as day, you saying to that guy, you know, or you giving that guy the thumbs up, him nodding at you, and you saying that's a badass car and I'm going to have it one day. And I said to you, you go for it, baby boy. And now years later, I have that car, at least one of them. And what the crazy thing to me is, going back to hearing stories, right, of people writing shit down or speaking things into existence, fruition or whatever. I don't believe in that anymore. I believe that you ask the source, you ask God for things, right? But you hear these stories of people like the creator of Chicken Noodle Soup for the Soul. If any of you are old enough to remember that he wrote himself $100,000 check when he was in a bunch of debt. He wrote himself $100,000 check and he taped it to his ceiling years ago. And he would see it every single day. And that made it real for him, $100,000 check. That made that $100,000 mark very real for him. And he said, I think it was a year or two later, it ended up happening. Jim Carrey, he tells this story of, I think he was sitting on a park bench, and before Dumb and Dumber happened, he wrote himself a check for $20 million and put it in his pocket and took it everywhere with him. And he got the contract for Dumb and Dumber and got paid $20 million. And these things were real to these guys, you know? And the most recent one that really inspired me, to be honest with you, is this guy on Instagram, and his name is Mr. Optimal. And he's this cool dude. He's like this, he calls himself an evidence-based, you know, coach. I have my issues with that, but we're not going to talk shit, you know, because I do appreciate him, especially for this, because it inspired me. He was a drug addict and he got clean. And he said the day or two after, I don't know, a little while after he got out of rehab, he sat down and he wrote down a bunch of goals. He had a piece of loose leaf paper. He wrote down a bunch of goals. And it's like 2 years later, and they all became true. And they all came true. He goes, my dad texted me a picture of this goal sheet that I had when I got clean and out of rehab. And he's like, and now my company has grossed over $250,000 this year. My coaching business, I've bought a new house, my car, I've become a man of faith. I have a wife, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, just know that when you are serious about your goals and you write them down, anything can happen. He's like, I was a drug addict, dude. And that really got to me, dude. This type of stuff like just inspires me so much. It really got me thinking, you know, if they can do it, why can't you? And this is a question that I want to ask all of you guys. I want you to answer in the comments. Why not you? This is a question that I have asked myself for years. I grew up broke. And when I first started my athletic training business, I was lucky if I made $1,000 a month. I've told this story before. After 5 years, I had grown it to a 6-figure business. I was on my first year of hitting 6 figures, and it was going to be well over the $100,000 mark before I opened my gym. It was going to be well over $100,000 is what I would have hit. In 5 years, I wrote that down because that's the only goal that I had. And for years, I had asked myself, why not you? So often we are conditioned in life to believe that you need to know somebody, or you need to have the right connections. You need to have the proper education. You need all these different things to be lined up for you to succeed. It's not going to happen to you because whatever reason. Rather than having that mindset, I would like to ask you guys, why not you? Why shouldn't it be you? Your previous conditions, your previous circumstances do not dictate your future outcomes. Do not let anyone lie to you that it cannot be you, that your goals are crazy, that you are not able to do it. You shouldn't be able to do it because other people can't do it, or these people are lucky. Whatever the bullshit noise that people want to put in your ear, don't ever listen to that. Ask yourself the question, why not me? A positive mindset can go a long way. The moment that I decided to shift my mindset and to shift where I believed that my future was going to be, so many things changed in such a crazy, great way. I can't even describe it. So I really, really encourage you guys to just try. And it's hard. It's not easy. You have to make the effort every day. You have to make the conscious decision every single day. I am not going to be the victim here. I dictate my outcomes. I am in full control. And it's a muscle that you have to learn to train, and you have to flex it. But nonetheless, it can be trained and it can be flexed. That's it for today, guys. I hope that you did enjoy this podcast. If you did, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Leave a comment. Tell me why not you. Or why you, rather. Tell me why you. And I will see you guys in the next one. Merry Christmas. Christ is King. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed year. New Year's is coming up. Write down your goals. Don't let anybody shame you out of being a resolutioner. Who gives a shit? I would say start now. But regardless, get on it. We'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.